Good morning, Dre. How are you?
Hi guys, how you doing?
I'm doing good. So you're in this Stalkers movie now. Are you in the same thing with Mina then, or is this different stories or just one story?
No, it's one story. I'm the cop who takes Mina down.
Oh, all right. So, and is this based on a true story?
Yes, it's based on a book called Whisper of Fear about this woman, Rhonda Saunders, who wrote the law on stalking because there were no laws for people that were getting stalked. And they only would bust these guys once somebody was killed, so there was no preventative measures. So they split that character into two separate people. One, there's a prosecutor who's Jody Lynn O'Keefe, and then there's the scrappy street cop, which is myself.
You know, I asked Mina Suvari, I said, this maybe will hit home because she's a hot chick that's an actress. I go, you must have had some stalkers. She's like, really? I haven't had any, really, and this movie sort of opened my eyes up to how weird people can really be.
Yeah.
Have you experienced any sort of wackos or weirdos?
Yes, I have.
Isn't that must just be absolutely horrible? I mean, I think it's horrible for women in general because guys, there are just creepy guys, but if you're famous, it's 10 times worse, I'm guessing.
It's pretty. It definitely exacerbates it, but men get stalked too because women are the number one stalkers.
You're crazy. That's why women are nuts.
We are, man.
You know, before you and this movie premieres Saturday, tomorrow at 8 p.m. on Lifetime. It's a Lifetime original movie called Stalkers. Before you came on, my co-host Dieter here said, "No, this can't be true. I don't know if I'd ever heard this." Said that you were the one who decided to leave Sopranos because you wanted to go do that Joey show. I said, I think they just wrote her out of it, or they not wrote her out of it, but you know the character came to an end. You didn't choose that, did you?
No. It was good drama. That was the character. Adriana was always just a day player. She was never brought in as a series regular. David Chase loved my character and just kept giving me more and more and more. So I got very lucky. But when they said they were going to kill me, I was like, I'm glad I got to stay this long. But it made for good drama because people loved her so much, and she was so vulnerable. So to see these animals, and when they killed me, then all of a sudden everybody's heroes really became animals.
How did they tell you that you were going to be killed off on that show? Did someone come and sit down, or did they call you?
David Chase. We sat on a curb on the street when we were shooting episode 5, and he told me. I asked because I wanted to know about this other project that I was interested in doing where I was going to be directing. So I asked him what my schedule would be like because I had a feeling I might die. So he came and told me, look, we're going to shoot it 2 ways. We're going to shoot you getting away, and we're going to shoot you dying for confidentiality reasons because he wouldn't even want the crew to know what the ending was going to be. That's how crazy we were about spoilers. So we shot it both ways.
Were you disappointed? I'm assuming you were disappointed.
Well, it was supposed to be the last season, so I wasn't bummed out because I knew the show was ending anyway. But then they got more and more. They built more speed and started going for some more. So then I was bummed out.
I actually loved the way that series ended. A lot of people hated it.
I loved it too.
I thought it was great. Just open. It was so unexpected, open-ended. I was like, I got done, and I just sat there for about 30 seconds, and I go, that was brilliant. And then, unlike most television, I remember at the time, I actually thought about that for days afterwards. I thought about that ending. Most of TV, it's disposable. You watch it, and you never think about it again.
That was my argument when we were doing press at the end of it all, because people were asking me a lot of, why don't you think that was terrible? And I was like, no, because David Chase has made you guys think for years, and now you're still thinking, and that's what you want to happen at the end. You're wondering if your TiVo glitched out. You're wondering if you asking yourself a million different questions. Had they killed him and had they kept him alive, either way, if they would have given you that information, everybody would have been pissed off either way.
You said that there was another project, the directing project that you were interested in. That's what you wanted to do originally, right? You wanted to be a director. You didn't necessarily want to be an actress.
But I got lazy.
You got lazy. And is acting easier than directing?
I think so. For me, it is, because directing is such a giant undertaking.
Why? To me, it seems like acting would be much more difficult. I think acting is harder than people realize.
It is. It definitely is. and to maintain, some kind of an emotional state is very tiring. And memorizing lines, there's just a lot that goes into it. But I originally wanted to direct, but it's a big deal. It's a big. You're wearing 100 different hats. So with an actor, you show up, you say your lines, you go home.
I read that when you were a child, you moved into Aretha Franklin's former townhouse in New York City.
Yeah, that's true.
I read that and I go, Dre's family must have been very rich. Were they?
Well, my family owns a really prestigious sleep sofa company called Carlisle Custom Convertibles, and then Avery Boardman. So there's two companies. And we're the only people that make these really high-end, amazing sleep sofas that you can actually sleep on every single night without complaining.
Oh, my God. I've tried to sleep on some. I mean, not those, what you're talking about, but regular ones?
Yeah.
Oh, my God. You wake up the next day, you feel like you've been in a coffin for 6 months. Yeah, terrible. Your back hurts.
They sold these to, they're in the White House.
Really?
Yeah, they're pretty amazing.
So your family did pretty well, and then...
we were rich, but we did, we were definitely upper middle class and did pretty well. And in those days, when we moved into Aretha Franklin's townhouse, that was the 80s, man. We were paying $2,500 a month rent.
Yeah, now it's $25,000 probably.
I went back to ask and inquire, and it was. And they offered to sell us the whole building at that time for nothing, and it was a giant townhouse.
Wow.
Next to the Guggenheim.
So then what did they think about your career path? Were they happy with you going into acting and entertainment?
Well, my dad would always say, if there's something else you can do, please do it, because this is heartbreaking. And he was right, but there was nothing else I could really do, so I did it, and they supported me all the way. Are your parents still around, Dre? My dad just passed away, actually, a couple of weeks ago. Oh, my God. It's horrible. I know. I came home to introduce my boyfriend to my dad. I want you to meet my new Italian boyfriend, Dad. And I said to my boyfriend, joking around, I want you to meet my dad before he dies. Just joking. And the second I came home, the old man started dying. But I got to hold him and be with him the whole time. And it was just very quick and painless and merciful. So I'm grateful for that. Oh, my God. That's awful. Now, so you have a boyfriend. I thought that you were... I thought you were married to Waylon Jennings' kid, or you were. I thought I was too. What are you? What? No, I've heard he's married now, but I don't know the details. But no, we're not together anymore. But you have what, 2 children with him? Yes. What did your parents think about that? That you had? I mean, I don't know if you're. Yeah, I mean, I just kind of imagine. Maybe it's just because you play that Italian character on Sopranos that you think like, oh, I wonder if her family is kind of old school like that. Having children out of wedlock and that kind of stuff. Well, Shooter's mother probably is more in that way, very Christian. My mom's very religious, but very open-minded and very liberal, and they're happy if I'm happy, and they know that. But now that I'm getting older and my kids understand marriage, I think I'll go for it at some point. How did you meet this new boyfriend of yours? I mean, did you just meet people through friends, or my girlfriend introduced me to him? Yeah. Are people somewhat intimidated by you if they start dating you because of I mean, that Sopranos show? They're still replaying that. I just saw it on replay last night. I mean, that has to be intimidating to guys to start dating you, right? I think it takes a real strong kind of guy to hang out with me, and I think I've finally met my match. Well, I found myself a good Italian boy. I hope that it works out. Hopefully he's not a mama's boy like a lot of those Italian guys are. They're such babies, One of the guys here on my show, his girlfriend has to shave his head with a razor because he can't shave his own head. She actually lays out his clothes every morning. I go, you got to be kidding me that you're that big of a pussy that you can't. She'll be shaving my legs for me. He's that kind of guy. You actually, now this is another interesting story. You at one point, I don't know if you still own it. You had a clothing shop. Do you still have this clothing shop? I don't own the clothing shop anymore, but my ex-boyfriend and his wife, they still have it, and it's in L.A., and it's amazing. This is what I found fascinating, that you were running this. Didn't you have this even with your ex-boyfriend? Like another ex-boyfriend. With another, yeah. She has.
She has. I'm actually one of Dre's ex-boyfriends. She has so many of them.
I see 10 years with each of them. Let's see if the new one gets 10 years.
Is that difficult, though, to be involved in a business with a boyfriend or ex-boyfriend?
No, man. It was we split amicably, and I still support them at the store and stuff. And we're trying to make a line of T-shirts with my daughter's art on it because her art is out of control. So we're going to make a line of kids' T-shirts with FilthMart. And my ex makes these amazing concert tees now for a lot of kind of underground artists. So, and it's funny, I know you guys are out in Rochester also. We made our money originally from raiding House of Guitars in Rochester.
Oh, yeah, the Hog, of course.
And we got all of their concert tees from their basement, and we made a living off of those for a long time.
Wow, I didn't know that. How old is your daughter now?
She's 5, and my son is 2.
So your daughter's 5 and already making art.
She's amazing.
She going to follow it in your footsteps in the entertainment industry, would you imagine?
I don't know, man. This chick, she's a little Picasso. Her art looks like Picasso's art.
No kidding.
Yeah, it's wild.
I'll buy one of these T-shirts when they come out.
People are floored.
Well, this movie Stalkers, it premieres tomorrow night, 8 p.m. on Lifetime, and Dre is in it, and also Mina Suvari, who was on the show the other day, she's in it as well. No steamy love scenes between the two of you, I'm guessing. Doesn't sound like it.
Steamy love scenes, but they're not between me and Mina. They're between Mina and another chick.
Oh, no kidding. All right, I have to tune into this then. Tomorrow night, 8 p.m. on Lifetime. Dre, I appreciate you coming on the show.
Thanks for having me, guys.
Thank you. She seems like a cool chick, huh?
Yeah.
I like her.